Plus the mouse with our thoughts on episode 7 of the My Dog's Game Changers. And Wild Wing's back, as always, to help me out throughout this series. So, we're coming to the thick of it now, episode 7 of 10. I thought this week was kind of a good opportunity for us to take stock now. Nice little breather from the main action going on and get an opportunity to do with team dynamics, particularly after our big cliffhanger at the end of last week. So, you remember the end of last week, Eben, of course, committed treachery. Yep. Oh, as an angry Wild Wing. Angry Wild Wing. And of course, then the Doubles did find out, and I thought, okay, so it's episode 7 basically going to be Eben just spending the whole episode groveling, just going, sorry. Well, he sort of did that, didn't he? Sort of did. He had to spend most episodes just going, sorry. And of course, quite interesting to see how they all took it in their own unique way. Particularly, in particular, Sam and Sophie. Should we just go that straight away? Yeah, right. So Sam, I think he felt the most ticked off about it, didn't he? Yeah, he got a bit ticked off. He was the one that was most annoyed about it. And Sophie, she was quite a bit miffed too. But I think what was interesting, it was Sam who kind of had the most beef with it. So it's a good opportunity to get him to see him and get a bit more on his character. Because I don't really see much of him as on his own that much. So that's a great opportunity there. Now, in this week's My episode, we had a lot of characters being a bit sneaky in their ways. In particularly, Bombay and Stephanie. Now, do I get Steph out of the way first? Yeah, okay, right. So obviously last week, you watched the episode, we talked about last week's episode. You noticed there was quite a bit of foul language. Yes, well, we go, yes, there was foul language, yes. Because obviously last week Stephanie maybe thought, oh, why is she being such a bitch? And this week I couldn't tell. So in that little scene she had with Alex, where I can't tell if that was to hinder or to actually give sound advice. I just could not tell at all. You know? Because we had Stephanie talk to Alex about how she should be not letting up, be taking control of the situation herself as a coach. Because obviously Alex this week has had a little bit of insecurities about being as a coach. She's feeling that her motherly instincts are now starting to take over. Particularly when we had that brilliant players only meeting that she called. I loved it because she basically had them all in one room and barricades all the chair, and you could just hear them just squabbling left, right, and centre. Because the squabbling was so loud, even you could hear it outside the door. So when Gorlax were talking about each other, and Gordon was trying to it's very much sort of hyping up the fact that these player only can be a bit gladiatory, can be a bit gladiator style. And all that. I was like, oh, I should let her out. And he's like, no, leave them in there, let them do it themselves. So we have a lot of Alex being a little insecure this week about her being a coach. And we have more Gordon now stepping up to the plate. So he's gone from being the whole I hate hockey to straightforward, I'm going to get back into him, help the team out, and even being an assistant. Particularly in his sneaky way, was the power. He ended up cutting the power. Because we had a power outage during their little players only meeting. And I loved how Gordon was trying to think, oh, it's not that switch, not that switch. I thought, yeah, the power's out. But then later on, it turns out, well, actually, he was just acting, because it turns out he was acting as he didn't know what he did, because it turns out he was the one who'd killed the power. To try and get the team to make amends and fix their ways and come together. And he does this by having them do pond hockey, which of course is where most people get their start in hockey. And of course we saw that in this year. We actually got to see some actual pond hockey in the NHL this year. In Lake Tahoe. Let's tell about that. But what I loved is how Gordon's just going to go his techniques and his methods and all that. I love those, particularly when they had to, instead of using pucks, they used their phones. I was like, oh no, they're not. I was like, they're not. Oh, they're not. They are. They're gonna use their phones. Because oh dear. Looked like he tried to scare Cooper, because Cooper thought he couldn't go as fast as he could. I loved how he was like, well, the ice is crushed, and that when made Cooper go zoom, and he's like, oh well, turns out it wasn't. I loved Bombay this week. He was really. So he's now sent him all to the plate, because at the end of last week he took over the system wrong, and then he made it sort of it's sort of now official. And Alex has now been this week was a bit insecure about her coaching abilities, started to doubt them. But by the end, Bombay's able to remind Alex that it was her who helped re-reckon his love for the game and encourages her to take the reins and lead the team, which he does eventually goes back to be on the bench of the team during the game against, what was it, the Hornets this week? Were they playing a team called the Hornets? Yeah, okay. I got confused. I was like, what is it? Alright. So they are able to come together as a team and take another win. Inspired by this play that Alex had, where earlier she had them all on the pond, had them do some training blindfolded. And we can see that did not go quite well, didn't it? It did not go quite well. They actually went having blindfolds on. I was like, oh, what? No. I'm surprised none of them ended up being injured. I'm surprised. But in the actual game, they used it as what they learned from there as an idea for a play, which helped win the team win very late in the game. And by the end of the episode, obviously the team has now officially made up with their bin. But I just feel, was it too quick? What do you think, Mum? Was it a bit too quick, maybe, to sort of just make amends like that? I just felt it might have been a bit too quick and everything, because they were all pretty mad, and I loved how they were being all mad and everything. And I did love how we got to see, in particular, Sophie and even Sam's reactions to it. Who Sam even is at one point does try to quit. He's at the locker getting his stuff, and they laugh. But Abby is able to talk him round and everything, and eventually he's able to convince Sam to stay on the team. So luckily, I'm going to be a problem there. But yeah, so I think what I learned about this week is, okay, this is the kind of episode you think maybe should have happened in either 4 or 5. It's an opportunity to take a break from the action and work on the team dynamics that little bit more. But I think it actually does work well, because we've had 2, maybe 3 big episodes. Because obviously last week we had the big reunion. Not the ITP2 show, not the show about ITP2. The actual reunion of the old Ducks. Then the week before that we had the Evan Evans' dad, and then the week before that we had Evan trying to get someone on the team. So we had 3 sort of like big episodes. So I think for me, being what I loved was this was an opportunity for us to kind of just take a break, just take it slow, and help build the team's dynamics a bit more. And it's an opportunity to get to know some of the characters and some of their dynamics a bit more, particularly some of the characters who may not have had the opportunity to shine that much so far in the series. So yeah, so it's a nice episode and all. Because what I loved is how so the dynamics I could see it's what you probably might have thought maybe would happen like an episode maybe mid in the series, maybe episode 4 or 5. But no, I think it was quite penciled in quite great because I think it would have been quite hard after the big impact of last week. Last week was a great episode. Not just because we had the big reunion of some of the old ducks from the original trilogy. A lot got packed in, so I thought it was great we had the opportunity to, just take some time. Just take some time to, just to relax, just to catch a breather. Going into what will be the last 3 acts of the series, because we're on episode 7 of 10 now. So we are very much on the home stretch. Can you believe it? I know, I can't believe it. It's been great. It's been fun. It's like it's all over. So, these last 3 episodes, I bet, are going to be very, very big. Depending on what we're going to see from them. I think there's going to be some big content to come in these last 3 episodes. And I'm guessing we're going to have a showdown with the Ducks at some point. Because we have had their first encounter. Because in the Mighty Ducks trilogy, you would get their first encounter with the main rival team for the big film or the series, and then towards the end you'd get the rematch, and that would be the big one where it counts. So maybe that's what we're going to see as we come towards the end. But I think we're going to see some big stuff coming in these last 3 eps. So I think this was a nice opportunity for us to take a breather, a chance to catch our breath, take stock of what we've seen so far, ready for what's going to be 3 big episodes. I'd say we've only got 3 more to go, and that's it. Oh, it's been great fun. I really have enjoyed this series a lot more. So I think I said what I wanted to say. Just before we go, I'm just going to quickly give my cultural reference check. There wasn't any. Nope. No, not really. I'm quite surprised we haven't seen more cultural references. I mean, this is so we'll talk about when we do get an opportunity to review the 3 films. Because I think there was more cultural references in the films than there were in this series. Yes, there wasn't really any more cultural references than we've seen already. So still a while to go on that front. Well, it's been great as always. Thank you, Wellwing. Love to have you on as always. That's going to be it for today. If you'd like to see more content, please do click the subscribe button. Or tap subscribe. You're going to miss a when new content comes out, including Brian plus the mouse. And it's all that's open today. It's goodbye from Wildwing. And from me until I see you next time, au revoir. Hello, George Hand here. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all my latest videos. Don't forget to like, send a comment below, and why not stick around to watch a few more? Go on. I highly recommend it.